venues where we have the right to consult are no longer available to us. So the TAPs do not basically replace the right to consult that we had before in those venues. So we wanted to make it clear in the language. So we've done that here.
I just want to let everybody know too, we are recording this so that folks, if they want to watch later on. So we've covered Article 21, which was the removal of cotton C&I from language. We just covered association rights, which is this guy right here. Big part of, like Jonathan said, is this putting into contract language our right to consult educational objectives, not leaving it up to the district to decide whether or not they're going to let us, but we actually have a contractual right to do so. The next one, so that's from the April 25th town hall. Then we went on to the May 2nd. That's when we got into the TK6 evening conference language. It looks like this. And the big modification to this was two things. One is that if you don't have conferences scheduled, you don't have to be present. If you don't have them scheduled, you don't have to be there. The second piece, I think, is the thing that teachers are already doing, which is offering our families the opportunity to participate in evening conferences. So it's memorialized in this document, but I'm pretty sure that's something folks were already doing. I'm sorry, there's a third thing. The third thing is that the amount of work time in a week assigned to conferences cannot exceed typical work week. And that's this contract language, right? Let's see. Right here. Just 512.2, this section right here. And really 512.2 is all about making sure that you get your full day in each day, but it also allows you to extended hours on one day and then leave a little earlier on another day, as long as it does not impact student instructional time. So what does that mean? Let's say on an evening conference day, I work my 4 hours with my students. It's my instructional day. Last 2 hours, instead of going home and coming back for evening conferences, I schedule parent conferences during that last 2 hours of my day from 12:30 to 2:30. Then I also attend a couple of hours of evening conferences. That means I've actually worked more than 6.5 hours a day. I've actually worked 8.5 hours. So the next day, if I want to, I can leave with my students after my 4-hour instructional day has left, because between the 2 days, I've worked a complete 13 hours. So hopefully that makes sense. That's an option for our members. Want to work longer on some days. By the way, this is not, the member just individually makes this decision. You have to make sure that your admin are on site, that you have your translators if you need them. Like, you have to hold proper conferences, and folks need to be aware. Your admin needs to be aware that that's what you do. Any questions about that? So the next one was adjunct and extracurricular. These were just some modifications to language here. This is this language right here pertains to our elementary folks, that instead of the principals having to have all the adjunct, all the extracurricular duties listed on the first day of school, they now have until the day after Labor Day to get that list up and for folks to sign up for those 6 hours for that. So it gives the site and the site administrator and the site members a little more time to get that done. And then this last bit about voluntary, this has always been in our contract language. Really, we just changed it up a little bit to make sure that it was clear that we're talking about additional voluntary time that anybody can give whenever they want. There's no obligation by the district to pay anybody for this time. By the way, for our elementary folks too, this was a big bone of contention for the district. So now we have this language that says that this time is for supervising students. It is not for planning or preparing for events. If you want to plan or prepare for an event like a fall festival or something, then your site administrator should pay you for that time. Unless you want to give it up as a voluntary adjunct activity. That's up to you, but you cannot be required to do it. If you do it, you can also use it as your adjunct. I'm sorry, your just your. Why am I not thinking?
Can I ask a question?
Your
Your extracurricular hours.
was that
Your extracurricular hours.
extracurricular hours? Yes, yes. Last year we had a problem with some sites essentially having folks run entire programs. You're going to run the whole, fall festival. You're going to do all the planning. You're going to do the coordinating, and it was just turned into a voluminous amount of work. And so we had to make sure that we put some rails up around what administrators can and cannot have folks who become extracurricular hours. So that's good language for our people.
Can I ask a question? Oh, go ahead, Kristen. I was just going to ask, because this will be starting whenever it's passed. We're going off the old contract for this, right? That we had to sign up that first.
Yes, that's a good point. Thank you for asking that question. Old contract is still in effect till there is a new contract. And so that date was the 1st. And in fact, we won't even, Labor Day will come and go before our new agreement is signed and put in place after ratification. And so we are still working under the old language. Like all the extracurricular duties should have been posted on the first day. And that's when folks should have signed up. Nothing beyond that should occur. Good question. Let's see, staff meeting time. This was the language that we bargained that basically states no more than 75 minutes per week. So no longer the 7 hours a month. That language will be gone. It'll be 75 minutes per week maximum for staff meetings. Staff meetings only occur on the early out days for the site, and that on weeks that you have things like back to school night and open house, there will not be any staff meetings. And then we got a lot of members this year who reported was, hey, my principal's scheduled a staff meeting. We have open house the same day sometimes. Well, moving forward, that will not be a possibility. Contrary.
So can I ask a question about the 75 minutes?
Sure.
That begins at, we're out at like 1:47.
Begins at the end of the
Technically, would
workday.
that 75 minutes be starting at 2:50?
It's your normal workday. It ends on the time of your normal workday. So it's beyond, It does not include the early release time. That's still part of the workday. So staff meeting time commences at the conclusion of the workday.
That's what I thought, but there was some confusion.
Yeah.
So thank you.
That's always been the case.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Any
it was
other
that way with the
questions
7 hours too.
Good. No more Tuesday staff meetings, no more random Wednesday, Monday split staff meetings. It's only on your early out day that staff meetings can be scheduled. Any questions about this?
Yeah, just to clarify, so when we do that, like for back to school night and open house, can that be on a different day in the week, or does it have to be on that Thursday? I can't remember.
The week in which back to school night exists, back to school night could be on any day of the week, but you will not have a staff meeting that week, no matter what day back to school is.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So, we don't, that's up to the site managers. If they want to hold back to school on the Tuesday, God bless them. But there's no staff meeting that Thursday. All right. And let's see. So those are pretty much the TAs that we shared out on the May 2nd. And then we went into 31st. And then we have the evaluation. This was a big one. This had to do with folks who have been designated as partially meet standard by their site evaluators. There was previously no mechanism for the district to really support these folks. It was essentially a bit of a loophole. So went through, you'll see a lot of crossed out language. But the reason why all that's crossed out is because we drafted all new language that we summarized into a chart, which I think is going to be easier. So if you look at the top here, members informed that the first observation may result in a partially meet standard. So this is happening, in the spring, in the fall, late winter. So what happens here? Members offered a second observation, another chance. They decline the second observation, then they go into the evaluator will provide a summative evaluation. Just kind of follow the bubbles, right? If they do a second evaluation, then you follow those bubbles. Eventually, what could happen is the member could be required to participate in a coaching cycle. You would do that over a 3-year period before the district could force them into a program for improvement, then subsequently into a PARS program. So you'd have to have 3 years of consecutive partially meet standard before you could be forced into a program for improvement, subsequently a PARS program. And the only requirement for the member would be to participate in the coaching cycle. This process does allow the administrator to evaluate the member every year, so consecutive years, but that has always been the case. That is not something that's new. That's always been the case for our site managers. They can always, they've always been have the authority to evaluate multiple years. This table or this chart will be included in the actual contract itself. So folks can find themselves on this chart and then just follow the lines. Figure out where that takes them. All right. Any questions about any of this? This is not going to impact the majority of our members, but it will impact some. And then we've already gone over the extracurricular and adjunct duty, so those were the two there. And then, Jonathan, can you think of anything that's missing from here other than the financial stuff?
I don't think so, Jose. I think that was pretty much as far as we got up until we started talking about salary and benefits.
So then let's go over that TA, which looks like, oh, we got it right here somewhere. Here we go. So this is a tentative agreement for the financials. Let me make this bigger. Talks about it being a 3-year term from July 1st to 2023 to 2026. Let's see. Here's the salary increase, 10% on schedule, retroactively applied back to July 1st. So people were asking earlier, well, what month might we see the increase that happens in November? I think will be the latest. You'll get July, August, September, October, 4 months of retro pay, plus the movement in November, and then whatever that's going to be moving.
Jose, I've had someone ask me if I taught summer school in July, will the retro be pay? Will this salary 10% be applied to summer school pay for July?
Yeah, this says effective July 1st, 2023. So anything that you worked and were paid for that was off of one of the contractual pay schedules, then should be modified to. And then the benefits, this is the district increasing their contribution benefits from $13,700 up to $14,800. That's $1,100 increase for them. And that our member out of pocket would be say $48 a month, so $480 year increase instead of the $1,500 and something that it was going to. Could have been better, but that's much better than we left the district on June 20th, and it's as good as we thought we were going to get going into the mediation. And don't forget, we have reopeners, which means even though this is a 3-year contract, we do have the right to go back to bargain both benefits and salary for the 24-25 year, and then again for the 25-26. And in both those school years, both parties have the right to open up 2 additional articles besides salary and benefits. So it gives us a chance to kind of look at some of the things that we missed this last cycle and bring them back around into the next bargaining cycle, which means your negotiations team, once we get all this ratified, It's going to go back to the drawing board and start, planning for the next bargaining cycle, which may begin break for winter break. I don't know if they're excited about that, but that's a possibility.
To be honest, not really, but
Yeah. Do you have any questions about the financial stuff? Either salary questions. Just keep in mind that the 10% increase is for all salary schedules, psychologists, SLPs, all of our classroom folks. It includes all the additional pay language. So whether it's extended day stuff, it's the extra work agreement dollars, like every pay schedule, including, by the way, those of our members who are working as interns and they're working on the non-certificated salary schedule. That's a little box that you see on the traditional salary schedule. It's kind of in the bottom left-hand corner. That will also be increased by 10%. You guys are a good group. No questions? I'm going to go ahead and stop the share. All right. We'll pretty much answer any questions about this bargaining cycle. If you have other questions about other things like MOUs, other stuff, let us know and we'll get to that later. But right now, any questions about negotiations, about tentative agreements, about the ratification process? I'm glad you asked, Jose. Ratification process. We have this town hall this week. We'll have another one next week on September the 8th. Our members will be sent out a digital ballot. It'll be sent to their personal email. So if you haven't registered or subscribed to our personal email, the MailChimp, then you must do so in order to receive a ballot, a digital ballot. So that's the only place you're gonna get a digital ballot is through there. We have some folks who may be interested in doing a paper ballot, a write-in. A write-in. We're also going to offer that as an option, but that will also be sent to your personal email through our MailChimp account. So we're pushing for folks to get themselves subscribed to that so they can have their vote counted when we ratify it. The ratification will end on September 12th, which is a Tuesday. We'll count those ballots up, get the results out to everybody that evening, and then the next day on September 13th, the school board has their regular meeting. This will be on their agenda to do their part in the ratification. So if all goes well, the entire contract will be ratified and approved by the evening of September 13th. That's the plan. Those of you who just joined us a little later, we are recording this and we'll push that recording out for folks to want to view what we've written so far. They can do that as they see fit. But questions, comments, concerns, this is the place. We have the people in the room. How do you get a giant calendar, Mr. Mejia? There, I see that in the background. I thought the district stopped printing those things.
Good question. A couple of friends that I have in the migrant department, I just requested from them, so I got it every year. Yeah, it's nice. Everybody says, why don't have one? You have it. So I'm like, well,
exactly. It's all about who you know.
Jose, there's a question in the chat about the salary schedule and when can we expect to see that posted or where?
Oh, that is a fabulous question.
I mean, the district will usually puts the updated contract at some point on the website, and we
Yes.
usually do, and then the salary schedule would be posted as part of that.
Yeah, so Jonathan and I have actually received already from the district a draft of the updated complete contract, and I started going through it, figuring out what's missing from it, saying back comments. That draft actually includes updated salary schedules for all this, for the general membership and then the subgroups like psychs and SLPs. But there's other pieces that are missing. For example, the nurses' salary schedule is missing from that. Those folks are going to an 8-hour day, still 186 but 8 hours, so their salary schedule is going to change. That wasn't included, so the district needs to update all that. So we're really hoping to get a shareable document pretty close to ratification. I can tell you that our salary schedule, if you are 6th row, year 24 or more, our top salary for our district is going to go up to 127,000. It's not horrible. And then our starting is going to be what, Jonathan? Somewhere around 60,000? I think.
Yeah, 63, step one, column one, 63,591 is the starting salary for, yeah, if you're just at the lowest or the highest and furthest over to the left column, 63,591. Top salary on the other end of the spectrum is 127,000. So if you have a master's degree and you have 24 years or more of experience, that's your new salary. 127 and $2. 127,000 and $2.
Yeah, that was a good question. That we're hoping, right, to get that, get our edit comments in and get it updated so that we can.
If you know your
updated
step and
version.
column and want to know, I can tell you it's right here on my phone.
And the district was nice enough, they converted the entire document to a Word doc. So we can actually look at it as an editable document and not like we had in the past, which we had these scanned PDF pages, which were able to read, couldn't edit, you couldn't highlight sections that you wanted to comment on. So it was ridiculous. So they did a nice job of converting the entire document as one collective document, not as individual sections. And they did a nice job. We can thank Nora Vargas for that. Put a lot of work in them, just help us get that to where it is right now. She's going to help all the way through to the end, make sure we get a final product that we share with all our members.
Yeah, Nora's kind of the unofficial member of both of our negotiating teams, right? I mean, she's an essential person, certainly at the table and beyond.
More questions? Let's see. Oh, you're welcome, Samantha. Anybody else want to drop something in the chat? You're more than welcome to do that. It's only been 30 minutes. I have a whole hour.
Can I just, I'm not gonna be able to make the meeting next week. Is it gonna be the same thing or I missed that?
Yes.
It cut out a little bit.
It'll be a copy of this. We'll go through the same document with all the same links.
Okay, so I won't miss out on new information.
No. It's good.
Okay.
You're up to speed.
Where can our members go find this video? They're looking for it.
I will send it out when I send out the reminder for the next meeting.
Thank you.
I know we have a 3-day weekend coming up, so folks are going to get hopefully knee deep into that and enjoy that. And once we get back on Tuesday, we'll be back at it with my rapid emails, daily emails until we get to the ratification. Then I'll slow down, I promise. All right, folks, seeing no additional questions, if you're, thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. Please share anything that you've heard here today with anybody, at your site, in your department, travel likes, we want as many people as possible to hear what we're doing. We want everybody to be as aware as they possibly can, so that nobody is voting, dark. Ratification again will start on the 8th, the digital ballots, and then it'll be on the 12th of September. If you want to do this again with us on 6th of September, we'll be back for another town hall on the 6th. So thanks everybody. If you want to stick around, ask questions about anything else, we'll hang out. Aloha.